Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream queen size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal queen size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to mypillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. mypillow.com. Promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Welcome in as I continue my journey along the Alaskan coast as part of our Patriots Alaska cruise with Mike Gallagher and Larry Elder and several hundred of our radio listeners. Today's port of call, Ketchikan, is the gateway to the Tongass, which is the salmon capital of the world and a town that wears rain like a badge of honor because it rains a lot in Ketchikan. The Ketchikan hugs the shoreline of the Revelgalia Island. It's a colorful, stilted building type of village, climbs the hills above the harbor, and again, no highway out, no highway in. Boats only. You can fly in. There's a lot of float planes coming in and out. It's like a taxi cab that you see in these little villages. This is Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian country. You'll see their stories, towering totems, and formline art across the town, and they're very proud of their totem heritage here. They have a totem heritage center. The city grew up on timber, canneries, and the steady return of salmon each summer. Wonder Creek Street, which is the old boardwalk on the creek where the fish and fishermen go up. You can watch eagles. They're flying everywhere. You work the tide, and if you can take a float plane into Misty Fjords, if you are not afraid of flying above the water like that, you can see granite walls, hanging lakes, and waterfalls pouring straight into the sea. Just God's beauty everywhere, and I just cannot stress to you enough just how beautiful this is. There are about 8,000 to 9,000 neighbors who keep this place, Ketchikan, humming. It's a fishing village and, of course, tourism. Small businesses around in a community that shows up for each other when the weather does what it wants. Standing here with the smell of salt and cedar, I'm reminded that America's strength comes from builders and caretakers, people who steward what they've been given and help the next person find their footing, which brings us home to the upstate, which they're weighing a new homeless ordinance, tightening rules around camping on public property, blocking sidewalks, and aggressive panhandling, while there's a lot of faith-based groups out there and service providers pushing for compassionate, effective solutions that actually move people from the street into a more stable environment in a home of their own. Joining us next is Ryan Duerk, CEO of Miracle Hill Ministries. We'll dig into what's in the proposal, what it gets right and what's missing, shelter capacity, mental health, addiction treatment, and how to balance public safety with dignity and real pathways out of homelessness. From rain-soaked Ketchikan to Main Street, Greenville, Ryan Duerk is with us next. America is in a health crisis, and by America, not just strangers across the country. It's personal. Me, you, friends, and family. And a major cause? Excess weight. Joey Hudson here. The solution isn't expensive shots like Ozempic. It's learning how to eat and think about food differently, and that's what PhD Weight Loss does. Their clients lose up to a third of their body weight. No drugs, just real food, behavioral coaching, and proven science to turn your body into a fat-burning machine. Sure, you could spend up to $20,000 a year on injections that burn muscle, not fat, and come with risks like pancreatitis or bowel blockages, only to gain it all back. PhD helps your body naturally produce weight loss hormones like GLP-1s. No shortcuts, just results that last. Already on Ozempic? Dr. Ashley Lucas and her team will help you safely transition off and keep losing weight. Let's make America healthy again. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com. This week we've seen some passionate debate about homelessness, both in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and in the city of Greenville, here in the upstate of South Carolina. Supporters say that it's about safety and keeping public spaces clean. Others warn that it could criminalize poverty and push our homeless neighbors further into the shadows. Joining us today is Ryan Duerk, CEO of Miracle Hill Ministries, a nonprofit working to eliminate homelessness right here in the upstate. Ryan, it's always a pleasure.
Good to see you, Joey. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the city of Greenville. Their proposed public camping ordinance has sparked a lot of discussion. From your perspective, how would this ordinance impact the people that your organization serves on a daily basis?
You know, Joey, this is in the spotlight, these past couple of weeks. This is not the first time that the city of Greenville has considered a camping ordinance. I believe the last time was about 6 years ago. And, I get their desire, which is to help people to get to better services and to eliminate what might create trash or issues on the streets of violence, things of that nature. This has come up on the heels of kind of the Supreme Court decision this time, Grants Pass versus Johnson, which was about this time last year, which essentially upheld Grants Pass's position that making camping illegal did not violate the Constitution. And I think it's really important for your listeners, viewers, to understand what this means. Miracle Hill would not disagree with the idea that a municipality has the right to defend its own streets. A city has the right to say, hey, you can't do X here. At the same time that we say that, we would say you have to hold in balance the idea that you cannot make homelessness a criminal act. Holding someone accountable for something that perhaps they have no control over and they're simply trying to survive, putting them in jail certainly isn't the solution to homelessness. It never has been the solution to homelessness. And so I think that when we're looking at things like a camping ordinance, you can fall on one side or the other. Either you can make something that's very punitive, that holds people accountable and hurts them, makes their situation of homelessness more complicated, or you can create an ordinance that actually helps people to move to the next place in line. And this is where Greenville is. Greenville is trying to decide what type of ordinance they want to do. I got to believe the best in Greenville. I believe that they're going to come through, listen to the service providers, look at best practices, and adopt something that will be overall beneficial to the entire community.
Yeah. Ryan Duerk is my guest today, CEO of Miracle Hill Ministries here in the upstate of South Carolina. Ryan, critics of these public camping bans say that fines and arrest don't solve the homelessness problem. You agree with that?
I agree with that. I do think that if somebody is committing a crime, that they should be arrested. I don't think people get a pass because they're homeless. If they're urinating on a public sidewalk or doing something else that is against the law, by all means, take them to jail like you would any other citizen. But if you're going to create an ordinance that creates fines or jail time, if it's fines, you're making their escape from homelessness more challenging. Number one, they're not going to pay the fine. They don't have enough money to pay for somewhere to live. They're probably not going to pay a $250 fine that they have for camping. I also believe that once you create this ordinance in any city, one of two things are going to happen. Either the person is going to move out of the area where there is a camping ban, or they're going to intentionally stay there to go to jail. Going to jail is not always a terrible thing if you're homeless. You go somewhere where you have a safe place to stay and 3 meals a day. And so some people will use the ordinance to actually manipulate the system and find somewhere safe for the evening.
Yeah. I think, and just with people that I've spoken with about this, Ryan, there seems to be so many different approaches around the country. And this is not unique to Greenville. It's not unique to Washington, D.C. Other cities around the country have this same problem. It's just, how do you deal with it? Do you feel like in Greenville that organizations like yours, Miracle Hill Ministries and others, are able to communicate with the city, and is the city open to you guys putting together a plan that where you could help serve these people rather than writing tickets and possibly arresting them?
Absolutely. There is an ongoing communication and relationship with the city, even concerning this ordinance. The council member who has proposed it, John Duerk, and myself and other service provider leaders, we've been in constant communication with him since he proposed this here back in May, brought it to council in June. It got tabled, and we are in a conversation with the city to make this ordinance the healthiest ordinance that it can be. Now, do I think that if I was starting from scratch, would I create an ordinance? Probably not. But if we're going to have an ordinance, we can make one that is actually healthy for the community. The second thing I'll say on that, the city has put a lot of its eggs in the basket of what we're now calling Greenville Together. Greenville Together is an organization of service providers and people in the business community, local government, the sheriff, the city police, all working together to determine the gaps in the system. The highest achievement of a city or a community is what we would call effective net zero. It doesn't mean that we're going to eliminate homelessness. There's not a scenario where homelessness disappears, but a community can achieve a place where as many people as are entering a homelessness system exit in the same period of time, net effective zero. But that requires the community coming together and looking at gaps. That's what Greenville Together is trying to do, determine the gaps and fill them so people's experience with homelessness is brief and rare and non-reoccurring.
Yeah. One final question for you. Ryan Duerk is with me today, and we're talking about the issue that the city of Greenville is trying to tackle. But again, this is an issue that other cities around the country are having. Ryan, if you could write the ordinance, or if you could develop the program to do everything that you think it should do in order to deal with the issue, what would that look like? What do you see as the solution?
Yeah, the solution it's really simple. There's going to be complaints when people are camping in public areas or sleeping or napping or whatever. You're going to have complaints. Those complaints should get funneled through an outreach first approach, meaning have the people that develop relationships with those experiencing homelessness, have them be on the scene first and try to help that person move on to a service provider or some other opportunity. Make sure that everybody involved in the situation, both law enforcement and outreach people, are trauma informed and understand the experience of homelessness and how to develop those relationships. We should have some social service requirements before there's anything like jail time or fines associated with it. We should make sure that there is accessible shelter options, of which Miracle Hill is probably the largest shelter option in the state. And then we should protect people's belongings when they're asked to move on. I think there's some other best practices that can go along with that about transparency and making sure there is an understanding of what we're trying to achieve. That is not criminalizing the homeless and putting them in jail, but helping them to find healthier options somewhere in the community.
Yeah. Ryan, it's always good talking to you. Appreciate what you do. For additional information about Miracle Hill, go to their website, miraclehill.org, miraclehill.org, and feel free to donate generously because it does take money to operate such great organizations like Miracle Hill. Ryan, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Joey.
Your comments are welcome on the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Furman Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Furman Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Furman Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Furman, Matthew Furman, they do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Furman Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Furman Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Furman Ford online at furmanford.com, furmanford.com. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Furman Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.